I'm missing one judge. What judge am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1. I can't count. Can we give it up for math? I need everyone to say rewind. DJ, cut the music. All right, y'all. This is the final round. This is the final round. This is where we determine what 5 poets make the Right About Now Slam team. Are you ready to get this second round started? I said, are you ready to get this second round started? No, you're not, because we have not yet spilled blood on this stage. Y'all put your hands together for our first sacrificial poet of the second round, Lachelle the Shooter RH.
When your dick is tragic, who was lying when they told you you was all that? Y'all, I once read a study that said over 80% of straight women admit to faking orgasms. That these women make conscious vocalizations in order to boost their partner's ego rather than as a direct expression of sexual arousal. They use these sounds to speed up their partner's ejaculation due to boredom, fatigue, discomfort, and or time limitations. Now, up to 92% of these participants felt very strongly that these sounds boosted their partner's self-esteem. And you know, it seems so fitting. Because ain't it always a woman's responsibility to deny herself for a man to crown himself royal when he really be the taco on the bottom shelf? Sacrifice for his self-esteem so he can huff and puff, call himself king, call him daddy, a master of the pussy, when the only credentials he got is being birthed out of one. But anyway, further studies show that women do this because their men are so goal-directed. They won't stop until a woman climaxes, won't stop even if he has to force her into a climax. No wonder he thinks coercion is consent. Force be the language of boys looking to be men. Force be the only good fuck, and he got to fuck to find his masculinity. Ain't his manhood wrapped up in a conquest? Can't be an emperor if you ain't conquered someone's territory. Ain't figured out how to master his own soul. He came looking for mine. Another common reason that women fake orgasms is that we tend to believe a man's satisfaction more important than our own. We women raised to sacrifice, to take the blame for a man's lacking, martyr ourselves for masculinity, the antithesis to accountability. So we just swallow his insecurities. We moan when we mean move, endure despite discomfort as a man crashes against our cervix, searching for his confidence in our reaffirming cries. Worldview tell us pleasure ain't our birthright, so we don't give ourselves the right to sex on our own terms. You know, I started this piece prepared to talk about me. Give them the satisfaction of resting on my tongue yet again. But I figured this be my poem, so I do not need to spite myself for their enjoyment this time. This time, I'll be the only one who reaches the end. I swallow my fears, spit out my demands without apology. I make shrine of my body, worship her with my own hands, learn what makes her sing her own gospel. I explore this playground, uncover the treasure once buried beneath the shame. I take back the power I once gifted in these fake orgasms, grant myself pleasure and permission to rise and climax for real every time.
That was Lachelle the Shooter RH. My judges, let's see if you remember how this is done. Let me see the scores in 3, 2, 1. All right. From low to high. All right, from low to high, we have an 8.2. We have an 8.4, an 8.8, a 9.0, and a 9.4. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet. And keep that energy going. Hey, y'all, I ain't giving up on y'all. Y'all giving up on me? Keep that energy going for the second sacrificial poet coming to the stage. Crush your poet.
So the book says, Leviticus 20:13. If a man has sexual relations with another man as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They have to be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. And my family is filled with church, a family that prays together, stays together. So we praise his holy name. Knees bent, staying grounded, hands clasped in a beggar's grip, eyes closed, unable to see our household falling apart around us. My daddy once told my tomboy younger self, don't no man want a girl with scraped up legs. So I pressed my kneecaps into the floor harder in rebellion. One day I would tell him, I don't give a damn what these men want. All I want is to love a woman without becoming prey to those who praise the man upstairs. God, why would you place this blasphemy inside me? The internal struggle began between what I thought were my only two choices, being damned to hell or living a hell of a lie on earth. Years later, when my little cousin called to tell me she was now black sheep of the family, my heart cracked for her. Imagine your own mother forcing you out of the closet you were hiding in, dumping every gay bone in your body out of shoe boxes, ripping the heterosexual skin you wore as disguise from his hangers, telling you you're going to bust hell wide open, and all of a sudden, the family that prays together prays on you together, exiles you from the only home you've ever known while they try and pray the gay away. And I pray, please release her. I released myself about 7 talks with God ago. And though the distance between my family and I continue to grow, God, I have never felt closer to you. But sometimes I still wonder, how long will our people be slaves to a book? When will we stop judging and condemning, using its pages to point out everyone else's flaws but our own? Is the whole book applicable, or do we cherry blossom pick the verses that bloom the prettiest? Let me take a master's crack at it. No forgiveness for a crack addict. Condemn the child that steals a loaf of bread to feed a starving family. Excuse the pedophiles, but to hell with the homosexuals. Well, if I cannot be gay, then you cannot be free. Let us return to the slavery days of Ephesians. Let us pluck all the sins from our skin like cotton, laser away our sinful tattoos, and replace them with whip crack lashes to the back. I mean, we can pray ourselves back into submission. Now, how does that sound? Does it sound unevolved? Does it sound like control of a people? Do hate crimes against gays in the name of religion remind you of niggas hanging in front of a burning cross in the name of Jesus? Devils cloaked in white angel claws dancing around the burning bush? I cannot find the love of God in any of this. Mark 12:31. The second most important command is this: love your neighbor the same as you love yourself. I guess the question is, how much do you love yourself? Let us pray.
That was Crush the Poet. Lachelle the Shooter RH had a score of a
26.2.
Of a 26.2. Can I get Crush the Poet scores in 3, 2, 1?
Get it right.
All right, we got a low score of a 9.5, a 9.5, a 9.6, a 9.7, and a 10. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet and keep that energy going. For the first poet coming to the mic, Free.K.
You ever met a guy so smooth you thought he invented cocoa butter? A black man message. After every interaction, he left a stylish impression. I have. I called him Vic. He was a true Cyrus in both ways. I mean, the sun and the throne, he stayed IC, illuminating care. Vic gave his mind on paper, his soul on stage, his heart to empty hands. And when he kept coming up empty-handed, he handed in his 2 weeks' notice, hoping that his moping spirit would leave a stench strong enough that we'd finally just come to his aid. Unknowingly, we fanned it away, too distracted by the cool threads that somehow kept us sewn together. He needled through crowds, already crowded by the patchwork blanket of insecurity and doubt, looking to touch base with somebody, but his fingertips covered in thimbles. It seems the seams have unraveled. And when that didn't work, he switched to crochet. He started weaving the messages into poetry, triple knotting the loops twice, burning the loose strings. It still stings to think about. Conversations of collaboration and being victorious, becoming worldwide level poets, and everyone knowing us, man. Vic really tore us apart. I remember the last day I saw you. You wore a suit. I wondered what the special occasion was. I didn't know that it was a going away party. He was my friend. And not a minute passes when I don't think about those 5 seconds I didn't take time to talk to him. Men tell healthy truth with weary eyes, only to be grabbed by the chin, chest beaten in. Men yell help with a hearty smile. Tattoo teardrops on their eyes because they're not allowed the real ones. Suicide has become the friend of way too many black men, and they'll lie to you. And they'll tell you that it's in your genes. But remember, who were the people that embroidered the pants? This is for my Vicks. My throat knotted every time I took time to write this. It's the hand over the mouth for me. Cheeks becoming swollen from the sting of self-loathing and hoping that this shit was over. It's the disassociation for me, wanting to ask for help but not feeling loud enough to be heard. I heard my voice telling me that I'm done now. As if life were a thing that you just have the option to clock out of. My mind is decaying. I can't control the intrusive thoughts. I often think about how people can love someone, no, something like me. These regrets playing over in my head again like nursery rhymes. I'm feeling like I lost my hickory. Anxiety attack, there goes my dickory. I've docked my common sense, I'm too cuckoo. Always sticking my neck out at the stretch of a car just to be pulled back in and shut out. Mental health ain't healthy. I'm really up here asking y'all to help me. Approved. I like to think that I wear my feelings in the nude. I don't really like people touching me. Fingertips feel like suction cups for the souls. I feel like I can lose my mind at any moment.
That was Free.K. Crush Your Poet had a score of a
28.8.
of a 28.8. Can I get Free.K's scores in 3, 2, 1? All right. From low to high, I have an 8.7, a 9.0, a 9.3, a 9.5, and a 9.7. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet. And keep it going for the next poet coming in the mic, Black Wildflower.
There's a phenomenon birth when light enters a water droplet. The light bends, reflecting off the inside, separating its components between wavelengths and colors. When the light exits the droplet, it is born as a rainbow. And I have asked many men, what would you do if your son was born a rainbow? And they say, I would never want my son to be vibrant, as if black boys should not be bright or free, that it's okay for their daughters, but boys should be boys and not so feminine, that this will make him fragile, as if exuding feminine energy is a sign of weakness. One guy said he'd rather kill his son than to watch it rise. Why do rainbows and death share the same womb? Why can't black boys be bright or free? Isn't black the intensity of all colors collaborating? Someone once said they'd rather their son be a murderer than for him to be gay. Rather he take someone else's life than to live his own. So I wonder what they'd say about my son if he were born a rainbow baby, which is a baby born after a miscarriage or loss of child. 2 days after I found out I was pregnant, the father told me he could never be in love with me. The next day, a rosy red river crawled from in between my thighs. I have never felt more blue. Insomnia runs my eyes yellow, and this is the second child that I've lost. And straight men tell me that they'd rather kill their son when my womb has already carried so much death. Isn't it more important to love your child than to never get the chance at all? Even if he is born gay, my son's light will reflect off my tears. When his radiance exits my body, it will be the birth of a rainbow. And I'll assure him that black boys can be bright, brilliant, soft, gentle, flamboyant, free. So live loud, laugh loud, love loud. It's okay to see your reflection in your mother too. Because what's a man without feminine energy? Colorless. And if they try to get violent because my son's smile is painted violet, if Delman try to dim him, tell him he is too black boy to bear luminosity, I'll assure him to paint his life in living color. Dance, darling, dance, like yesterday would be jealous to watch. People will stop to witness your luminescent spirit because I have already dug through my depression and survived the storms of losing 2 children, my son. You don't have to wait for someone to see how much of a bold phenomenon you are, because you are my rainbow baby. And I'd give my last breath just to hear the hues of his heartbeat, because no matter who my son chooses to love, I will love all the shine in his curiosity. To know that he is a black boy, I would be grateful just to have him alive.
That was Black Wildflower. Free.K had a score of a
27.8.
of a 27.8. Can I get Black Wildflower scores in 3, 2, 1? We have a low score of a 9.7. Then we have a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. Damn the score. Give it up for the poet and keep that energy going for the next poet coming to the stage. Cue the applause.
I have survived the apocalypse 4 times. January 1st of the year 2000, Y2K was upon us and everybody was sure that it was going to send us back to the dark ages. Secretly, I kind of hoped it would happen because then I would have had an excuse to stab my school bully with a broadsword. You can imagine my disappointment. December 21st, 2012. The Mayan calendar was running out, and all I could think to myself was, I can't wait for December 22nd. I've also survived 2 biblical apocalypses. Some preacher whose name I can't remember and doesn't matter convinced thousands of people to sell all of their shit and live out of Astro fans because the sky was going to open up and the rapture was surely going to descend, just like the United States credibility every time Donald Trump tweets. But lately, I've started to wonder. Maybe the reason all these flaccid days of reckoning haven't fazed me is because the apocalypse is already happening inside my head. And if my anxiety is Ragnarok, then I am Thor without his hammer because I do not feel worthy. My heart is a stone I cannot squeeze any more blood from. I have an identity crisis every time my mind tries to peel the skin from my bones. Have you ever tried to carry the weight of the world in your head instead of on your shoulders? Sometimes I feel like Atlas is standing behind me, taking notes. If the road to hell is paved with good intentions, I have spent the last 4 years being a stonemason. I took a tour of the devil's house and built him a throne with the bricks that I laid to keep people from getting too close to me. But eventually, I came back. Like cockroaches or genital herpes, I am not easy to get rid of. And now I am here. Some days I don't know if I'm Jesus or Judas because of the knife that I keep sticking into my own back, but I do know this. The world has ended 4 times already, and I am still here. When it happens again, I will not be afraid.
Y'all give it up for Cue the applause. The last poet had a score of a
30.
Of a perfect 30. Judges, let me get Cue the applause's scores in 3, 2, 1. All right, we have a low score of a 7.8, of a 7.8, of an 8.5, an 8.7, and a 9.2. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet. And welcome up the next poet coming to the stage, Sharika Mitchell.
Free diver Budimir of Croatia currently holds the world record for surviving underwater for 24 minutes and 37 seconds. The average human can last about a minute and a half. For me, anything past 30 seconds might as well be an invitation to the afterlife. Here on land, I hold my breath every time I'm at a stoplight. Every time I hear sirens, every time I see high beams in my rear view mirror thinking, is this a broken taillight? Is this when I stream live? Will I be able to let go of my breath to tell the story? I hold it while holding CDs, Skittles, my ID. They ID'd me black, so now I hold it while holding up my hands. Budimir voluntarily held his breath to be a record holder. Black people still hold the world record for being human target practice. Some of us are holding our breath. It's better to play dead than end up dead. I wonder, do they still call it resisting in the afterlife? I hold it in awkward situations like being black and woman in a room filled with white privilege, knowing they will call on me out of convenience. I hold it while filling in the status quo, while being a token black girl, because I can't be too black in these kinds of situations. We hold it while reading Facebook scriptures, some white Jesus who don't see the sins in all lives matter and find comfort in silence. We're holding it because we're too black to fit into America's lungs. Nose not structured enough to fit into our father's last name. Our families warn us about the war outside, but what if your house is a slow leaking gas chamber? 5-year-old sitting in fumes of your worthless. Do you know breathing become less easy when you're reminded that you're not worth it? We give our black babies oxygen tanks when they step off the porch, but force them to hold their breath at dinner tables, make them swallow their words, beat them down with mistakes. I held my breath at a grocery store when this lady called her 2 black sons dumb, worthless, just like their father. I wonder, how will they hold their breath when they're on the playground, when they're casually walking through their neighborhood in a hoodie, when they get pulled over, when they reach for their wallet, when they're in compliance, when they're reminded of the privilege they will never have? Will breathing ever become easy if holding their breath is the only thing they've ever known?
That was Sharika Mitchell. Cue the applause. Had a score of a
Of a 25.0.
of a 25.0. Let me get Sharika's scores, judges, in 3, 2, 1. All right, from low to high, I have a 9.7, a 9.7, a 9.9, a 10, and a 10. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet. And keep that energy going for the next poet coming to mic, Zach Blunt.
When all things shut down and the cops kept shooting us, the masses moved into the streets, and some white Americans were outraged at the outrage. Now the doors are open, and white supremacists SWAT team the supermarket. 10 black Americans murdered in a massacre. I mean, America. And when the masses surely move into the streets, some white Americans will be outraged at the outrage. This poem is for them. Yes, it was and will still be a rager. But you white people are not late to this party. You just been a wallflower, sitting in the backdrop like the camouflage you love so much caught your tongue. You can't tell me you don't see color in a world saturated with so much hue. Man, besides, if everything was black and white, would you still not see how often we are erased from the pages? Blank sheets, they don't get read. You got to have context. And there's no contest. Black people have always been the popular culture. I would say y'all eat it up like vultures, but they black too. Time to give credit where it's due, and all y'all have done is bite off everything like gluttony ain't never been a sin. Walk into a space as if you own the place. Can't make room in a room you didn't build to begin with. Gotta take it back to the roots. Analyze the foundation. This not a takeover, it is a reclamation. This is a revolution, it's not a destination. The only thing that is stopping is damage I've been taking. This is not to say you have to take a bullet to prove that you are ally, but maybe take responsibility, maybe take accountability, maybe take a step back and take a look around. It seems as if you rather have owned people than to own up to oppression. And I don't know why you can't acknowledge both. I don't know if one even exists without the other. I don't know if the people who are othered even exist to you. And you say, of course, all lives matter. And I say, prove it. And you point to mission trips, and I see colonialization, and you point to urban development, and I see gentrification, and you point to this land of equal opportunity, and I see people in these streets fighting for the same thing declared at the genesis of this nation. Are you out here in these streets, or did you check out already? It must be so nice to be able to afford to check out of a conversation about race. Meanwhile, I'm racing not to be erased from the histories, because you like to take everything for yourself, including the history. So maybe it's time to take it back to the roots. Analyze the foundation. It's not a takeover, it is a reclamation. It is a revolution. It's not a destination. The only thing that is stopping is a silence you think you safe in.
That was Zach Blunt. Sharika Mitchell had a score of a
29.6.
of a 29.6. Judges, let me see Zach's scores in 3, 2, 1. We have a low score of an 8.9, a 9.8, a 10, a 10, and a 10. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet and keep that energy going for the next poet coming to the mic, L.J. Hamilton.
Show love to the melanated thick thighs with the stretch marks I like to call kiss lines that are probably there as the result of fluctuating weight or her willingly using her temple as the gateway to give your kids life. Applaud when her jeans don't fit right, or after she jumps to squeeze into them, they're still skin tight. That means her learning curves are like the perfect verse of a song that inspires you to live right. You know, be honest, be faithful, and let mastering her love language be how you spend mornings, and perfecting how you create love together be how you spend nights. Understand, if she got ass for days and cheeks for weeks, that's more than a handful of reasons for you to be her peace. Leave them streets, stay in her pulpit and preach relief until your sermon got her squirming and she gives you an orgasmic offering because you've earned it. And then squeeze her booty one more time because it's perfect. You see, it's proportionate to her struggle. That's how she got that juicy bubble. It's indicative of all the time she's had to hustle to make sure her household didn't buckle. Thick hips got all that muscle from the time she's had to run from trouble in the form of an abusive man who wanted nothing more than for her to crumble. Worship them thighs with intimate cuddles and let her know that whenever she struggles, you are there to be her balance and help her manage all that she juggles. Yes, I understand. That booty looks good to you. But please be mindful of the pain it's caused. From the unwarranted groping of strangers to catcalls and sexual assault, none of which was her fault. Be mindful of those times she's cried wishing she didn't have those beautiful thighs. Those hours per day she would exercise trying to tone them out of her life. Those times she would feel insecure every time her inner thighs would collide. And those times she would wear clothes based on how much they were able to hide. It's all right. Just tell her that because of who she is, you are made better. And if she wants to sit all of that ass on your face, you better let her. And then provide pleasure until with the Spirit of God you connect her. Let her drown you in her nectar. As you vow to always uplift, respect, and protect her, she deserves it. She is worth it. And when she asks, does she make you feel good? You let it be known that you felt her, which surpasses good in every sense of the word. And when she asks, do I look fat? You say, nah, baby, but that ass do. Now turn around and poke it out and show me what that clap do. Yes, make her feel good about something she doesn't always feel good about. Show love to the melanated thick thighs in ways that let her know you get it. Worship her body in ways that let her know you're different. For years, men have been telling her she's gifted, not understanding what the gift is. It's not the thick thighs, it's the way that she uses them to walk into her purpose, finally understanding that she is God. And in every way, the black woman is perfect.
That was LJ Hamilton. Zach Blunt had a score of a
29.8.
of a 29.8. Can I get LJ Hamilton scores, judges, in 3, 2, 1? I got some thick thigh loving judges from low to high. I got a 9.6, a 9.7, a 9.8, a 9.9, and a 10. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet and keep that energy going for the next poet coming to this stage, Chibi.
There is a boy with a poem that you need to hear, and it is uncomfortable. This boy has an erection and just got called on in class and now has to walk to the dry erase board very, very awkwardly. He does not know why he got an erection. Sometimes these things just happen, okay? Maybe he got an erection because he thinks that Mr. Garcia, the English teacher, has a hot ass, but this boy will not admit that until many years later because he would not like to make anybody uncomfortable. Many years later, this boy is done worrying about making everybody else comfortable. He will no longer be shamed into concealing his joy, his lust, his pleasure. He will proudly display his erection for everyone to see. His poem is about cocksucking. This poem might make you uncomfortable, but this boy is quite comfortable addressing the pink elephant trunk in the room. See, he has a bone to pick with you. The same 7.5-inch bone that picks confession and salvation out of the back of his throat. He hums hallelujah with communion in his mouth to help you come to Jesus. His poem is titled, Mom, Don't Read This Poem. Unless, of course, Mom has a problem with the way two individuals show love to each other, in which case this poem is titled, Mom, Please Read This Poem. Y'all need to stop pretending like you are offended, like you are disgusted, like you don't love burying your face bush deep into the sexual organ of your partner or partners of your choosing. And if you don't, that's okay, because this boy will not tell you what to do with your body just because we have different parts or preferences. This boy will not tell you how to worship your lover just because we have different ideas as to how we pray on our knees. This boy is done with your rhetoric. He will not apologize for what he puts in his mouth when you won't apologize for what comes out of yours. Every hot coal you speak, every commandment you spit at us, every law you think will break us can compare to the strength that comes out of this mouth and the love that comes in it. Everybody say, ah. Say, ah. Good. You have a mouth and a tongue, and this boy can think of two things that those are good for: orgasms and education. This tongue can make you come, but let your tongue tell me that my love is wrong. Tell me that we don't deserve your rights. Tell me that God didn't make me this way, and this boy will show you exactly what the fuck that mouth do. This boy is a man now. This man has a husband. Try and take that away and see if this head don't give you whiplash. Now, if you'll excuse me, this tongue has a poem. I mean, revolution. I mean, husband. It has to finish.
That was Chibi. LJ Hamilton had a score of a
29.4.
of a 29.4. Judges, let me see those scores in 3, 2, 1. I love this DJ. All right, from low to high, I have a low score of a 9.5. Then I have a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet and keep that energy going. For your next poet coming to this mic, Sarah Tony.
It's the second half of the game, and the ball is in my reach. As the newbie on the team, I rarely had a chance to make a shot, but finally, it was my turn to score a goal. And right as I was about to launch myself at that ball, score my very first goal, and make my teammates proud, I panicked and froze and stood there doing nothing. Needless to say, the other team picked up on my hesitation, got the ball, and scored the point for their team. Needless to say, I felt like a complete fucking idiot. After the game, my best friend / teammate came up to me and said, in the most polite way she possibly could have said this, "All right, seriously, bitch, what the goddamn fuck was that? You had a clear shot, girl. I was so mad, I was about ready to stab you in the foot." Well, despite this proclamation of intended violence being just a little bit extra, I honestly can't say I blame her. I can't even begin to count the amount of times I wanted to go for a goal that was right within my reach, but my self-doubt stabbed me in the foot, paralyzing me in fear of my own potential. Every time I want to catch the amazing opportunities that are coming my way, I'm afraid the universe will call on me, disqualify me from the game, and I'll once again be forced to sit on the sidelines while I watch everyone around me score goals left and right. As a kid, I was always the weak link, the one that no one wanted on their team, the one that was told no matter how much I practiced my kicks, I would never reach my goals. So as an adult, I learned to boo myself off the field before I had even had a chance to enter the arena. I would watch everyone around me score in their goals, consistently adding more and more points to their scoreboard while mine remained at 0. And I would think to myself, what is it about them? They make it look so easy. I want it just as bad as they do. Why can't that be me? But I think back to the advice our team captain gave us on the first day of practice. Guys, the truth is, everyone's afraid to be that star player. Every single one of us gets nervous when the ball comes our way because by that point, it's make it or break it. But you know what we're going to do? Even when we're afraid to show everyone here what we're made of, we're going to do it anyways. I have to remind myself, if those blessings were not meant for me, they never would have came my way in the first place. And if I don't actively catch all the amazing things that are coming my way, someone else will. Because I cannot claim something is rightfully mine if I don't show up to grab it when it's ready for me. There's a common misconception that the confidence comes before the action, but in reality, the confidence is the result of the action. And y'all, I am done being my own goalie. Slowly but surely, I am learning to run toward my goals, push through every obstacle that stands in my way, and make a name for myself as that star player. And no matter how many times my self-doubt tries to block me, I'm just gonna push that bitch out of the way, and I'm going to catch those blessings anyways. I'm going to shoot my shot anyways, y'all. I'm going to be amazing anyways. And I don't need no scoreboard tracking my successes because I'm winning this one for sure.
That was serotonin. The last poet had a score
Of 30.
of 830. Thank you. Last poet had a score of 830. Judges, let me get serotonin scores in 3, 2, 1. We have a low score of a 7.9, an 8.0, an 8.3, an 8.6, and a 9.2. Damn the scores. Give it up for the poet. Give it up for all 8 poets that blessed this mic in the second round. Audience, are we ready to find out who our winners are? First, if you're a poet in this competition, can I get you to come to the stage? Can we give it up for all these poets? They wrote poems. They shared them in front of us for points. Keep clapping, 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 keep clapping. Keep clapping, keep clapping. Keep clapping, keep clapping, hey. Clap one more time, hey. They're almost all here, hey. All right. DJ Good Fat, do you have Chariots of Fire for me? This is Chariots like bounce right here. All right, that's fine, that's fine. Audience, can I get a drum roll? In 8th place, with a cumulative score of a 48.6. Y'all put your hands together. Show love to Sarah Tonin. In 7th place, with a cumulative score of a 49.7. Y'all give an applause for Cue the Applause. In 6th place, she would be here, but she had to go to work. With a cumulative score of a 55.9, y'all give it up for Free.K. Are y'all ready to find out who made the 2022 Right About Now Slam team? In 5th place, with a cumulative score of a 56, y'all put your hands together for Zach Blunt.
I was fighting for my life.
He made the team by 0.1. In 4th place, with a cumulative score of a 57.6. Y'all show some love for LJ Hamilton. In 3rd place, this poet made all of us say, ah. With a cumulative score of a 57.8, y'all give it up for Chibi. Yo, these next 2 poets just moved here from Florida. Don't let them bully you, Houston. Don't let them bully you. In 2nd place, where's my drum roll? In 2nd place, with a cumulative score of a 58.2. Y'all give it up for Mitchell. And your 2022 Right About Now Poetry Slam champion. Put your hands together for Black Wildflower. Show love for all the poets. Show love for your 2022 Right About Now Poetry Slam team. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to the venue. Thank you to our incredible feature, Justin Lamb. Definitely check out his books. Ask the poets what their at is, what their merch is. Go ask that bartender what his favorite drink is. Ask the pizza people what their favorite pizza to make is. Get some tacos from the taco truck. Y'all, that was an amazing night. Thank y'all for making it an amazing night. It's been a pleasure being your host. We will see y'all next week. We meet every Wednesday. Next week at our poetry open mic featuring Mike Phillips. Thank y'all so much for making this an amazing show.
I text Will. I was like, as soon as the crowd responds, you can guarantee it's a 30.
You know the crowd responds. That's
It's
hard to
automatically a
say.
30. It's automatically a 30.
No,
I don't want anyone to leave without us meeting. Go celebrate, have a good time, and yeah.
Showing up in the state, can't wait, get straight, got money in my hand.